But before we get going, we wanted to kind of have an open conversation with everybody about how do you define service? I know we have some people who work at the Center for Community Engagement and Service Learning, which is awesome. So that's our kind of big question. Like, I think we throw around the word service and community service a lot without, I mean, maybe we do, but really thinking about what that means. And yes, Heather, it depends. So that's kind of what we want to talk about today. So how do you guys define service?
I'm going to challenge the grads to respond first. Yeah, Caitlin, I'm looking directly at you.
I mean, I think service can be a lot of different things. I think that what we're doing here is even service because we're gathering information and understanding different communities better. And obviously, like, community service can be like doing actual acts for different organizations and stuff like that. But I think any type of effort that goes into helping an organization, learning about an organization, or a effort could be categorized as service.
Like Caitlin said, it truly, there's like so many different kinds of service. But I think, I'm not trying to copy her answer, but pretty much just like taking the time out of your own personal, like out of our schedule to learn about something that's different than our norm, or to go out into the community and better like a certain area, like on the trips that we do, the marine life where we go pick up around the jetty. So basically just any sort of way you can help yourself to help others, and then just kind of reflecting back on that, because I've never really had much of service experience besides being in this office, and I've learned a lot of the different ways you can get involved, and even just gaining knowledge about an organization like this. I know it would be obviously different if we were there, but I think that in itself kind of just shows what service is, and just, yeah.
I'm not going to repeat what they said, but ditto, just, going out of your own way to help others in need or make a difference or an impact, whether that's verbal, physical, just any way that you can go out of your way and help others.
Heather has been writing in the chat about the different breakdown of service. So it looks like you guys have community-based service learning, internships, practicum, clinical experience and fieldwork, student teaching, consultation, student research, arts performance, laboratory studio. So yeah, there's so many different ways to serve. And I loved your guys' emphasis on like learning as a way of service. I think a lot of times people will think that service needs to be, I don't know what the word is. I think like in the early, maybe in the 90s, right? Service was like, okay, you need to go out and you need to complete a task, and it needs to be like a physical thing. You need to support someone in building a structure or creating something. But an act of service can be listening to someone, right? And so, yeah, you guys are right. There's so many different kinds of service. Does anyone have any more thoughts?
Good job, ladies. You all got A's today for your job. So I think it's also a point, and right, I mean, we focus a lot about learning because obviously in our academic rigor that we measure our service, but also it needs to be reciprocity. So the community partner needs to gain, the faculty needs to gain, the student needs to gain, and the community needs to embrace. So it's a full cyclical experience. But the key component of that learning is that there's also reflective, that the students are putting critical thinking measures together to understand where that partner is, or where this task goes, or what this community need has derived from, and really dissecting and exploring that to figure out, they can't just come in and save the day. They need to be, thoughtful and respectful of where that community partner is coming from. But then additionally, what can they get out of it to be a stronger citizen or a civically minded, or again, that whole, just the learning process.
Awesome. Okay, cool. I feel like you guys did great in this little kind of open forum. But we also wanted to share with you guys how De La Gente envisions service. Because as you guys said, there's so many different ways to talk about service and when we talk about service learning. So with that, Ronald can kind of take it away.
Thank you so much, Emma. And thank you so much for sharing those great ideas. I think that's it's really important ideas that you put up in the table, and just seeing how now, like Emma was saying, we are approaching the service from a different perspective. Like Lindsay, Lucy, Kaylin were mentioning, like first you need to stop yourself, and you need to hear what the other is saying, and not just assume that you already know the answer to their problems. It's first to learn their context, to learn their problems, and from there take action. So I think that's important, and that's what Heather was saying. That I don't know if I will be able to say this word in English because it's really hard. Reciprocity is that process of exchanging ideas, exchanging feelings, and noticing that we are not that different from each other, that our communities share the same problems, and from there we can take the same actions from our own communities to change the world, step by step. So from there, like in De La Gente, we first take some perspective from some activists, Lila Watson and Desmond Tutu. And from Lila Watson, we take the idea that we need to understand that in order to talk about freedom, we need to work together to create that freedom. So trying to take down those borders, taking down those walls of divisions that have been created over years, and understanding that in order to make change, we need to work together. We need to change that idea of oh, I have more resources than you, so I'm gonna help you. And that puts you in a different position, right? So it's more like, okay, in order for us to be free, because we are humans, at the end of the day, we need to work together, and where De La Gente tries to connect, to try to make everybody involved, understanding that it's together how we are gonna be creating change. And Katie had the opportunity to work here with us in De La Gente and Timoteo at the beginning of this year. And it was that realization that we needed to work together, that it wasn't like who has more resources, who has more knowledge, who has more power or whatnot. It was like, okay, if we want to complete this task, we need to do it together. And it comes, for example, to the world of sustainability. We want to create sustainability, we need to do it together. We should need to put that responsibility on the farmers, doing like more organic practices and whatnot. We as a consumer, we have a role. We as an importer, we have a role. So it's that moment where we realize we all have a responsibility in this, and it's only together where we are going to be able to create change. So that's where we are coming from, trying to put that those communities, they have the ideas, they already know what they need to do, and it's just more how we are going to put ourselves into work towards those goals that those communities have, right? So that's kind of like where we go. And now we are going to pass over to, so you can understand a little bit more the context from the cooperatives that we work with and the communities that we work with.